So, hello, good people. I'm so excited to bring you all this interview with Geoffrodamus, an artist,
Yes.
songwriter, and rising international superstar. He just released his Rose Gold EP on his birthday as a gift to us. And we're so grateful, and I am so thankful to have you today. So, welcome.
Thank you
Yay.
so much.
Yeah, I'm so glad to have you. This is so great. I'm really looking forward to hearing about your story and learning more about you as an artist. So let's dive right into, let's start with Rose Gold, the EP. So how did
Okay.
that come about? What was the inspiration? I know you said you released it on your birthday as a gift to your fans. I have my favorite tracks and lines. I have questions about that. But yeah, tell us a little bit more about Rose Gold.
So basically I was just looking for a new way to challenge myself. And I had been listening to a lot of Pharrell at the time, and I was like, man,
Yeah.
if I could emulate this sound but
Yeah.
like make it me, it would sound so cool. You know what I mean? I think I could really execute it well. And so I had been working on it for so long, and there's a lot of misfires because some was trying to. I feel like I was trying to sound too much like him, and then other ones
Mm,
it was just like, I don't think my head's all the way in this. I think out of the 12 songs I did, those four really captured what I was really trying to present to everybody. And
yeah. Yeah.
yeah, it was kind of like paying homage to one of the greats, you know.
Yeah, for sure. Definitely feel the Pharrell vibes, especially in the 24s track. That's probably my
Yeah,
favorite. That
that
one I
seems to be
definitely was like,
everybody's
that's Pharrell
favorite.
vibe. Yeah, it's just there's something. Did you produce that track, or did someone
No,
gave
one
you
of my
that?
homies produced that track.
Shout out to your producer because that is a
Yeah.
hot track. And of course, I love the lyrics, right? All the glory, like work so many nights, hard on the craft. Now creations are vast. Be a man, made some fans. K-pop next year. I'll do our tour in Japan. Real quick for you, I lived in Japan, worked in
No
Japan, know
way.
people in Japan, so we could really get you on
Oh,
tour in Japan if you really want to do it. We could really do that. That's gonna happen. That's called manifesting in real life, right?
yeah,
Yeah, I love that line. I love somewhere. I think that one is really relatable for a lot of people, right? Just the lyrics about someone is out there somewhere for you and things like that. So yeah, I
yeah.
love
That's
I love the
that feeling
EP.
of security.
Yeah, yeah, I love the EP. So congratulations on releasing that. Everybody go check it out. I will put a link in the below for you to go ahead and click on it. So let's go back to the beginning, right? How
Okay.
did you get into music? How did you get into songwriting? Where did all of that sort of come from? Were you a poet when you were younger? All those different things. Tell us about that.
So in fifth grade, I was living in Atlanta, Georgia, and I think that was the first time I really started like writing things. There was a state contest for all the
Okay.
schools. It was a little writing contest, and it was pretty cool. They gave you like three or four different topics, and whatever topic you picked, you had to literally create a story out of nothing from that
Wow.
topic.
Yeah.
And I ended up winning the state contest in fifth grade, and that was kind of like my first like, I'm pretty good at this. But my family wasn't really into the whole creative aspect. I come from a military family, so
Mm-hmm.
I feel like if they would have embraced some of the things I was doing a little younger, I maybe would have gotten to music sooner. But
Okay.
I was an athlete, so I played
Okay.
soccer for a long time.
Yeah.
Um, and actually, in college is actually where I really started like trying to get into music. I had the little iHome box where you could just
Okay.
plug your iPod into it,
Yes, yes, yeah, 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 yeah.
and I used to always just have beats on there playing. I used to love rapping over Erica Badu beats.
Oh,
They were so
wow. That's really
smooth. Yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
Okay.
That neo soul sound just really kind of
Yeah,
stuck out to me,
yeah,
and that was actually how a lot of my earlier music sounded.
yeah.
Um, but I think music kind of saved me because I feel like I wasn't
Mm,
really making the best decisions back then, and it was kind
mm,
of the only thing that pulled me out of the darkness that I felt I was feeling back in that time. And it started off as a hobby, and then it hit a point to where I was like, all right, I'm kind of getting good at this. Do I want to just dive in? Which was the scariest thing for me to do
yes.
because I don't know. I have a lot of like I used to have a lot of commitment issues, and it's not even
Yeah,
just for
yeah,
relationships, but
yeah. Like,
just
yeah.
committing to things. And so just to tell myself like, yo, you want to be a rapper? Everybody's trying to be a rapper right now. So it was
Yeah.
really scary. But through that, I was in DC when I first started dropping music on SoundCloud. And then I met an engineer in Albuquerque, which is, I guess I can say that's where I'm from because I graduated high school there.
Okay.
So when I met that engineer, he was like, yo, like, I really want to help you with your sound. Because I was recording all my stuff on GarageBand at the time. And
Yeah.
it did not sound
You use
very
what you
good.
got.
Yeah.
You use what you got. You just do what you got with what you got. Yeah.
But it sounded good enough for people to listen to. And he was like, yo, I got a studio. I'll record you for free. Just can you get out here?
Wow.
So I initially only went out there for a little bit because, like I said, it was a hobby at first. I was actually trying to be a flight attendant.
Interesting.
Yeah.
You could have been a rapping
I just
flight
wanted
attendant.
to travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. That would have been crazy. But yeah, I don't know why that was something that really interested me, but I just wanted to travel and see the world. And
yeah.
Then it came to a point where I was like, okay, well, I'm either going to go to flight attendant school or I'm going to do music. And at the time, there was a big show. Through that show is where I met Jeremy Jasper,
okay,
who was one of the songwriters on Jopping.
Yep.
And he actually, I don't know, he was so hard to read at first. Because I don't know, he's really dope, but I can tell there's a million things on that man's mind. He is always about his business. Yeah. So it was always just like, oh, I don't know if this guy likes me, but he kept inviting me to do shows with him, and they were throwing festivals. Okay. So to me, it was like I hadn't even performed yet, you know?
Yeah.
So it was cool. There's this venue in in New Mexico called Meow Wolf. It's like an interactive museum.
Meow Wolf? Like Meow? Yeah. Meow Wolf? Okay.
Yeah, Meow Wolf. Yeah.
Okay.
So, to explain it, it's like, okay, so there's a house, the whole place is huge, but so say there's this house in front of you. You walk into the house, it looks like a normal house, and then there's a refrigerator. You could open up the refrigerator, walk through the refrigerator, and now you're in a winter wonderland. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is really cool.
Wow.
And as you're maneuvering through this interactive museum, it almost seems like a trip on acid or something. But as you're walking through, once you get to the middle, there's a huge stage. And so a lot of people were just going there for the museum, but eventually Jasper and them started to create a cult following on that venue. And from there, we all started hanging out more. It was me, Kali, Nas, Retro. It was cool because it was like a bunch of black artists coming together, especially in New Mexico. That's kind of unheard of.
Yeah.
There's not many black people out there.
Not really where they tell us to go, yeah.
So eventually, I think it was Jopping came out in October 3rd, but we wrote that song that March.
Okay.
And I remember I was in Albuquerque and Jasper was like, hey, I want you guys to move to New York.
Yeah.
We were like, New York? What are we going to do out there? But at the same time, it was like we had been in Albuquerque for so long, we didn't want to feel like we had plateaued somewhere. Mm-hmm. And so as we were getting ready for that move, he was like, I have an idea on how to help you guys financially. I have this K-pop song. I was going to write it myself, but I want to give it to y'all. So he gives us a beat, and he's like, all right, y'all work on this all day, and we don't see him the whole day. So we're all just
sitting there. He just puts you in a room and like.
Yeah, he was just
work
I want
magic.
The song to be jumping. I want the song to be popping. And I was like, well, what are we going to do with that?
So that's how you got, okay.
Like, yeah, that's what Nas was like, call it Jopping. And I was just like, that sounds weird.
We gonna get into that. We're gonna get into that. Yeah. I got a lot of questions. Okay. I got questions, but it worked out. But
Sorry, I can talk. I'm sorry.
No, you're good. You're good. No, that's great. That really does lead into what we'll talk about with that track. So did you leading up to this, right, and meeting Jasper and stuff like that? Do you read a lot of books? Like, what do you do to maintain yourself as a songwriter and as a rapper? Like, how do you come up with like words, like the technical aspects of it? Like, what are you doing in the background before you're forced to just sit in a room and write a song?
Man, that is a really good question. it's tricky for me because
Yeah.
sometimes I can get inspired at the most random times.
Yeah.
Like I used to be a server at Applebee's,
Okay.
and sometimes I'd be
Hence
talking
the
to a
line
table,
about
and as
Applebee's in that
yeah,
song.
exactly.
Got it. Okay.
And
Yep.
as I'd be walking away from a table and be like, "Yo, something that lady said, turn that into a line. Oh, cool. Now I can make a whole song out of this." But a
Oh
lot of
my
the times,
gosh.
it's just you're hearing that beat, and I'm just kind
Yeah.
of letting the beat. I feel like the beat's speaking to me.
Okay.
That's the best way I can explain it.
So so you're a beat first songwriter, or are you a
Yeah, most
lyrics
definitely.
first songwriter?
I
Okay.
can
Yeah.
write before the beat, but
Right.
I don't know. It's just something about being in tune with the beat. It just comes out
Yeah.
smoother. Like
Yeah.
being able to write a beat, I feel like is a talent in itself.
Yeah. 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 Can you dance? Is that like a part of this?
You know what's
I've
crazy?
heard. You know.
I joined a hip hop team in high school, and I used to dance a lot with them. And I actually, when I was playing soccer for my college in Arizona, we used to go to Mexico and party over there, and I would get in dance battles all the time over there.
Right. There you go. So yeah,
But,
so you can dance. Yeah, you're just musically inclined. It is just
yeah,
within your
but
veins.
I feel like I wouldn't say I'm a dancer, but I can dance. But I would
Yeah.
love to learn choreography.
Okay.
Listening to all these
Yep.
K-pop songs now, I'm like, I feel like I get the groove,
Listen, you really they rehearse, okay? I always
Yeah,
if I could come back, I would come back as a dancer.
yeah.
That is definitely like my next life. I would love to be like a choreographer. That
I
would be
think you
it.
can do it.
I don't know. We'll see. We'll see. What are some of the keys to good songs? What would you say is a key to a good song? Right. So not necessarily a hit, but a good song.
Well, I used to struggle so much because I would write really long verses and not really know how to do hooks or really focus on melodies, bridges. So I think once I learned how to do that, I feel like the verses are like oh, people like the verses, like, oh, okay, this is cool,
Right.
this is cool, but the hook is what draws them in. So I
Right.
think a solid hook is foundation at most.
Okay. And then you build from there.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. But I think it's just about being relatable. People like things they can relate to, and I've always prided myself on just speaking how I'm actually feeling. I don't want to rap about something that I'm not going through.
Right. Right.
So, with that I think that's to me a good song. Is all right. As I'm listening to this, can I feel your struggle? Can I feel your pain? Can I feel your happiness? Can I feel your joy? What am I getting out of this song? And from there, I'm like, okay, I like this. Because that's what's going to keep me coming back, that replay value.
Yes. That like I can't even tell you this week alone how many times I've listened to some of your songs. So I think that's definitely really key. My whole library on Apple Music. I use Apple Music, although I have Spotify and all those things, but
I like
it's
Apple
pretty
Music
much all of
better,
that.
but Spotify
Yeah,
is the only one that really shows people how you're doing. You know what I
that's
mean?
true.
Just,
It
oh,
shows you the
okay.
numbers. Although, what about Tidal does too, right?
No,
Tidal not give you. They don't
Tidal
give you
just
the
gives
numbers.
you Tidal just gives you well, they all give you numbers, but I'm saying for
Right.
like from a fan's perspective, they're like, wow,
Got it.
this song has this many views. This song is top right now. You know what I mean? So
that's
I
true.
think that's
Spotify, and they run you the numbers like every once in a
yeah, they
while.
have this
Yeah,
many monthly listeners. It's
yeah,
almost like the new SoundCloud.
yeah, for sure. Who are some of your favorite artists? Like, first of all, who are your favorite artists? And then we'll get to the second part of that question, which I think you'll know what I'm going to say. But who are some of your favorite artists? Give me like your top 5 to 10.
Okay, Kendrick
Got
Lamar.
Pharrell, Kendrick Lamar. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Kendrick Lamar will be my top. Pharrell will be my second.
Yep.
Erykah Badu 3.
Yep.
Jill Scott 4.
Did you watch the verses?
Huh?
Did you watch the verses?
I did. That was incredible. I also like that, unlike the other verses, like they were supporting and uplifting each other as they were doing their songs instead of it being like a me versus you thing. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
They're like, girl, we having a good time here. Let's jam. And I love how Erykah Badu had the little projector behind her and the little DJ thing. I was like,
exactly.
She is great.
She is. She really is something. Sorry, yeah, go
What would be number 5?
I think you were going to say Frankie Beverly and Maze.
Frankie Beverly and Maze, yes.
Yep.
And I owe that one to my grandma. I actually have a tattoo of her.
Oh, yeah.
With Frankie Beverly and Maze, the hand.
Yes. Yeah.
And then Tom Kennedy will be 6.
Do I know Tom Kennedy? Who's Tom Kennedy?
Tom, oh man, he's a
give us the
LA legend. He's an LA legend. I'll definitely put you on some of his good projects after this.
Okay. Need to know.
7 would be, I'll say J. Cole. I really like J. Cole.
Okay. Yep.
When I was in high school, I was actually a really big Paramore fan too.
Oh my!
I like, Haley Williams is my favorite.
We're not. This isn't about me. This is about you. But all I'm gonna say is, I also had that phase. I still have that phase. Yes. Alternative, but Haley can sing. Okay, yes. Haley can sing. But also, yes, their lyrics and all of their albums and everything they're still going, right? Like that's proof that they are.
Yeah, well, I think she's doing solo. She's solo right now, right?
Yes, yeah. She just put out an album last year, I think.
Yeah. I love her. I love her so much. Yeah. Am I on 8 or 9?
You'd be on 8, I think.
8.
It's okay if you go over or under.
8. This is such a tricky question because I feel like I go through phases where I really like.
We'll just say for right now. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So I'll just leave it at top 8. I'll leave it at top 8.
Yeah. That's great. That's great. We love it. We'll just stay in the moment, stay present. Love the top 8. Really great selections personally, but I know a lot of people also relate to those things. So who do you want to work with? Who do you want to write for? Who do you want to rap with? Like, what are we? I think Kendrick, obviously.
Oh man, yeah, I think the person I really would have wanted to work with was Mac Miller. Rest in peace. Truly. He was one of my I loved his music. He should have definitely been on my list. I was slacking.
I think you had
I definitely would have wanted to work with him.
You had a tweet that was like the divine feminine was about before its time, which I completely agree with.
Yeah.
I completely agree with.
Well, one thing I liked about Mac was that, and I actually feel this way about Mac and Big Sean, but I like artists that when they get famous, they progressively keep getting better. Like you could hear Mac growing up in his music. Yeah. By the time you got to Define Feminine, you were like, where's he going with this? He keeps finding new ways to wow me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I would have liked that just to kind of pick his brain too.
Yeah.
That's one reason I really want to just meet artists. Not all the time I want to work with them, but just get inside their brain. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Plus, how is it to be up there? You know what I mean? I'm just getting a taste of really being in the music industry, and it's I can only imagine what it is once you're on that plateau.
Exactly. I can't wait to see where you are in 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. It's just going to be crazy. I can already feel it.
Sometimes I get nervous though, because it's I don't know. Uncertainty scares me sometimes. Just the fear of the unknown.
Mm-hmm.
And just trying to believe in myself, because when you don't know, sometimes you can doubt yourself. So it's I'm just always trying to keep myself motivated. Yo, you're doing good right now. You know what I mean?
You are doing it. You're literally it's happening. So you got to stick with it because it's going to keep going, right? I think also one of the things that some of the advice that I like to give myself is the fear of success is sometimes stronger than the fear of failure, right? Because once you start to succeed, as we said, you're on your way, right? That's going to add more responsibility, right? And I think that's where that fear of the unknown and failure starts to come in, right? Because you're okay, I'm doing this, I'm doing well, but I don't know what's next, but I'm doing well, so it's going to be okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I feel that for sure. Yeah. So great. So let's get into jumping and popping. We jopping. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was jopping. What? Why is that the name of the song? But now that you've explained it to me, completely understand. For everyone that doesn't know, Jopping is the first debut track by SuperM, a K-pop group made up of members from SM Entertainment, which is one of the big companies in South Korea putting out K-pop groups. So they have members from SHINee, NCT, and EXO. Those are the sort of three groups that are in SuperM. And they released their first song, Jopping, on October 3rd, 2019. It charted #1 on the world digital Billboard charts, #25 on the charts. It did all kinds of numbers. It's still doing all kinds of numbers. And you contributed to that.
Yes.
So tell us about, you said you met Jasper, and Jasper, let's get back to that story. So how you all are writing on this song, and Nas says, let's call it Jumpin' and Poppin', Joppin'. So take
Yeah.
it from there.
Okay, so when Jasper left us there, I think we had a choice. I think we had a choice of like 6 beats, and the Joppa beat was the one that just stuck out to us. And I was like, man, this is dope. And then that's where, Jasper, right before he left, he was like, yo, I want this song to be jumping. I want it to be popping. I want it to feel like a house party vibe. So I remember the first couple hook ideas, we were like, this just isn't sitting right. And then Nas brought it back. He said jumping and popping. Him and Retro were like, let's just call it Jopping.
Yeah.
And so once they did that, that's when we started, coming up with the hook idea. And then from the hook, I think Nas laid his verse down first. He was the make the money mine soon, make the crowd go wild. And yeah, that was Nas.
Yes. Okay.
And from there, I think I remember playing the Switch because I was like, yo, I need some motivation. So
like Nintendo
I started
Switch?
playing. Yeah, I started playing Smash Bros.
Oh my gosh, I have a Switch too. I love Switch. Oh my gosh.
And then we were actually supposed to go eat all together, and we're like, all right, cool. Okay. We still have all day to do the song because I think we had to give it back to SM the very next day. We had to give them a rough version. Wow. And then if they liked it, then they would mix down the whole song and send it to them.
Okay.
So I remember we ended up splitting up. Me and Retro went to go eat, and I ended up falling asleep. So fun fact, I almost didn't make it on Jopping because I ended up waking up at like 11 o'clock at night, and my friends like knocking on my door like, yo, we got to get back to the studio.
Yeah.
And by the time I got back there, the whole song was done except, because I worked on half the hook, so we did that part.
Right.
And then I did Mark's verse and the verse after Mark.
Yeah.
And I remember I got there and I was like, I don't know when I'm going to stay. Everybody's verse sounds so good.
Yeah.
And then, I don't know. I'm pretty sure we were listening to Andre 3000's Prototype from The Love Below. And that's when I was like, you think you big boy throwing 3 stacks.
Yes.
And after that, I just kind of kept building from that line. And
got it.
Next thing you know, Jasper's like, yo, I really think they're going to take this song. And then we don't hear about it for months. And by this time, we're already in New York. So I'm in New York. I'm trying to figure out how to live life out there. Trying to figure out what I'm going to do, honestly. Because I felt so lost when I first got out there. New York is different.
I'm personally in LA, girl. No shade to New York, but I'm personally in LA.
I'm in LA right now. I just moved out.
Love LA. Love LA. I'll tell you about it afterwards.
Okay. But so I think it was like a month before Jopping came out. He was like, yo, I got some good news for her. I hit us up in the group chat. He was like, they bought the song from y'all. Jopping is going to be a thing. It's going to come out. There's so many big things going for it. And at this time, we didn't know who we were writing for. Because, I know when I first, because I posted the demo on accident. Got in trouble for that. I won't do that again. But
it's all good. We live and we learn.
Yeah. But I remember all the beats at NCT. So I thought that's who we were writing for.
Got it.
And at the time, I had a lady friend and she loved K-pop. She was like, NCT is dope, but she would always bring up Mark. And I was cool. But, I wasn't really listening to K-pop back then. So I was just like, oh, okay, cool, Mark. Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And then when the song came out, I ended up actually writing for him. And honestly, he did it way better than I like that I was able to write for him, but his delivery was cold. It was
Have you looked into him since then?
Oh yeah.
So he did the high school rapper show and that stuff. Yeah. Okay.
Yep. From Jopping, Um, oh, hold on. I'll take it back. I'll get to that later. But
Okay. Yep.
so fast forward when Jopping dropped, I was actually in the hospital, and it's been
Oh
kind of
no.
good lately. But at the time, it was really bad, and I was hospitalized for a week.
Oh my
So
gosh.
when I was in the hospital, Jopping dropped at like 2, 3 in the morning,
Right.
and I'm talking to my nurse. I'm like, "Yo, you won't believe this! Like, I'm on a K-pop song. It's got all these views. Like, this is going
Right.
up, and it was cool because
She's like checking your
I had never
temperature, like,
been a
are you okay? Like,
yeah. She's like, "Are you okay?" I got the IV in, but I'm like talking about a K-pop song.
right, right, right.
And then after that, like it just started going up. Next thing I know, Mark's verse alone is trending on Twitter, and I'm like seeing these crowds perform this song, and it was wild. I'd
Yeah.
never been
Yeah.
experienced something like that before.
Yeah.
Um, but it was just also weird because it was like, we wrote this song, but like not a lot of people knew it was us. They're just like, oh, this
Yeah.
song is really dope. So
Yeah.
it was cool when the interviewers React to the K.
Yes.
They did an interview with Jasper, and then
Got
that's
it.
when they name dropped me, and they were like, "Who was the one who wrote the famous line?" And then after that, next thing you know, I think I've
Your
gained like
Twitter's blowing
800
up.
followers.
Yep.
Yeah, I've gained 800 followers from that song, which is really cool. I
Yep.
even got a lot of followers on Instagram from it.
Yeah.
But I also have a little cult, and it's weird because
So
K-pop fans
I
are way more intense than like I would say
intense.
American fans are. Like they really love you. Once they like say, "Yo, I rock with you,"
Loyal.
yeah, they're super loyal. Every time I
Yeah.
drop music, I'll throw it in the group chat, and be like, "Hey
Yeah.
guys, let me know what you think." And they're like,
Yes.
they're always supporting me all the time.
They so I've been in K-pop. I got into it really in sophomore year of college. I was a residence assistant. One of my floor members sort of showed me Super Junior, and
Uh,
he showed me Sorry Sorry, and he showed me Girls' Generation G, and I was just like hooked, right? Like I was just like, this is a whole new world. Like, what is going on? And
right?
from there, it just like took off. I became really big with Big Bang, and then I sort of took a break, right? I sort of got out of it a little bit. But what I've noticed is a lot of the artists like you, and I don't know if you know who Justin Lyons is. He's a guitarist. He's played with YG a lot,
Yeah,
done a lot with Blackpink and things like that. Watch them grow the band Six, right? Things like that. A lot of times, you all are able to also get a following for the work that you've done for these artists, right? Which is
right.
really great. And K-pop fans are so loyal. They're so amazing. They really try to support the people that have done it. I've seen, some of the tweets for you, like the video with the Mark and them dancing, and they're like, "This is
Yeah,
Geoffrodamus, like he wrote this," things like that, just so you know. But I think that's a really important point too, is that a lot of times people just think these songs sort of come out of nowhere, right? And that they're just out of thin air, and it's like, no, like people worked on this and people wrote this.
I got a message from a girl. She was heartbroken. She was just like, "I really want to support you, but it's just so hard to realize that Mark didn't write this verse."
Oh my
And I was
gosh.
just
There's
like,
also, yes, that aspect of it. Yes.
she was
Yeah.
just like,
Yeah.
it hurts me, and I was just like, I'm sorry to like,
You worked on it
but I
together.
heard he
You
does
and
write,
Mark worked
he
together.
writes music though.
Yeah, I think he does. There was some
So
show that
that's
he
why I
was
was like,
doing. Yeah.
I didn't want her to be discredit him because he's super talented. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah.
it was weird to see her say that because I was like, I don't know. It was, yeah,
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
this
That's
has been super
definitely.
new to me.
So that kind of leads me into my next question. Okay, so I'm a little bit of a language nerd. I speak Japanese, a little bit of Korean, a little bit of Chinese, Spanish, all these different things, right? So I'm really interested in like the technical aspect of this. So if you don't,
Right.
like if my question gets a little too technical, nerdy, just let me know.
Okay.
So you all wrote the whole song in English,
Yes.
and then they took it and added some Korean.
Yes.
But did they just translate the English, or do they rewrite it in? That's what I've always wanted to know. Is like, how do you
Well,
get from the original song to this song?
they actually didn't change our verses at all.
Okay,
So
okay,
everything that we wrote, they did it completely the same way. They just some of the words they're using, I think it flowed better to use it
yeah,
in Korean.
yeah.
Like like the verse after Mark, I'm trying to remember his name. I
Taeyong,
don't want to mess it up. Yes.
yeah,
He the part I wrote was "Believe me, I'm a sight to see," and
Right.
he wrote it's like "Me gaba gaba sight to see," and it's like
Got it.
completely different. You know what I mean? But I think it's the same thing, just in Korean, because when they put the subtitles on, it's exactly
Yeah,
how we
it's the
wrote it.
same. So I wrote my thesis on Japanese hip hop and whether or not the language sort of allows it to become rap, right? And so I'm always really
Right.
interested in those aspects, right? So yeah, so they changed it. So they just translate it and then keep
Yeah.
the meaning, but it's still what you all wrote. But then, so is there any sort of parameter around it where they say, because some of the things that I've noticed is that they use short form English, right? Or they use words that might be
Yeah.
a little bit easier to pronounce, right? So are there parameters where you all are told to only use those versions of the songs, or do you all just naturally do that and give it to them and then they change it?
Well, you know what's crazy is that like with Jopping, like, it just kind of really flowed really well together, and it was
Right.
also easier because everybody who was in the room working on the song were all really good writers in their own,
Got it.
aspects. So just being able to be in that creative headspace and just feed off each other was dope. But I'm finding it a lot more challenging now to like. Now I'm a lot more people have been asking me to write K-pop songs for them
Of
now.
course.
I can't really say the names, but
No, of course.
I'm
They
writing for
call those
some cool
love calls.
people. But yeah, but
You've gotten a lot of love calls.
it's harder. It's a lot harder because
Yeah.
they do want you to do it a certain way. They actually give
Right.
you like a whole resume on how they want you
Right.
to do the song, and then they give you what do you call it, references to like other songs. Like, oh,
Got it.
this is the vibe we're looking for. And I was struggling
Right.
because like even though the songs they'll be like, yo, the song you wrote for us is really good, but you gotta understand it's K-pop, so we need more of this, more of this, more of this. And that's why I think it would be better to like do a lot of these things with a team again, because you know what I mean. One thing I might not hear, somebody else be like, "Oh, we should try this here." You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. You actually kind of answered my next question, which was how do you write for K-pop audiences versus American audiences, right? So your music style, it's not drastically different, I would say. Like it's still like a vibe and things like that, but I would say that your music is more for an American audience.
Most
And
definitely.
now you're writing for K-pop audiences. So what are some of the things that you pay attention to when writing for a K-pop audience versus an American audience?
Um, Flow change every 4 bars. So every 4 bars,
Oh,
I'm changing the flow.
wow.
That was one thing that helped me with Mark's verse is that
Okay.
just every 4 bars hit him with something new because
Right.
you don't want to be too repetitive, but
Right.
you also want to be catchy. So it was also like punchlines. A lot of the times I like to tell a story, but with
Right.
K-pop, they're not necessarily really looking for a story. You know what I mean? So trying to transition into that of just all right, how can I still make this dope and catchy? Um,
Right.
so that was cool. I've been trying to watch a lot of battle rap too because
Yeah.
they're all about punchlines. You know what I mean?
Yep. Yep. An artist you'd
And
probably want to
also,
connect with who does battle rapping or used to do battle rapping is Dumbfounded. He's in LA.
really,
And he used to do battle rapping. And there's also that show that's on Mnet, Show Me the Money.
oh wow, I've never heard of that one.
Yeah, so Show Me the Money is for like up and coming rappers in Korea to do battle rapping, and then usually at the end they get recruited by one of the agencies. So a couple of them have gone
Right.
to Higher Music, some of them have gone to YG, some of them have gone on to do different things. But
You know
those
what's
are
so
some
crazy to
good
me
things.
is that I was trying to watch the Blackpink
Oh, the
movie on
documentary, yeah.
Netflix,
Hmm.
and one of the things they said is that a lot of them like were picked up from very young ages,
Yes,
and then they
yes,
literally put you with this group and make y'all grow
hmm,
up together.
yes,
And I think that's so dope that like
yeah,
they build that chemistry early,
yes,
But it's
yeah.
also like I bet that training was extensive,
It is.
extensive. I don't know if I would have been able to do all that.
I actually just went to a talk. There's a professor at UCLA who studies K-pop, and she talked about blackness in K-pop, right? And she talked about how they have these contracts that they sign sort of when they're like 13, 14, right? And then those last for that whole time. But the point of it is that they are sort of nurtured into this group that then debuts, and you see sort of a family, right? You see these people that get along, that are friendly, that can vibe off of each other on the stage and things like that, right? But yeah, it is definitely really intense. It's a different model also from what I think we see here in America, right? And a lot of times boy groups and girl groups, we don't really see them succeed because they just don't have that chemistry, right? They don't have that that bonding
Yeah.
as much as I would say K-pop groups do. But yeah, it's definitely
That's
a
why it's
different
so crazy
environment.
how SM does it. They're just
Yeah,
putting so many different groups together. Like, oh, we have these people in this group. All right,
yeah,
now we really like these people in this group, so now we're going to put
yeah.
them in this group. See how they do in this one. It's like,
NCT, the whole concept of NCT. I again just sort of started getting back into K-pop. Like I probably got out of it when BTS was just becoming popular in Korea. So like so
okay,
probably back when they just started, when they just debuted, I sort of stepped out for a while. And I come back, and now you've got NCT, and it's like NCT U and NCT Dream and NCT 127, and then members
yeah,
from NCT Dream go to NCT 127, and it's just
yeah.
like I can't even keep up, but I like it. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm loving the vibe, so it's great. It's great. We're gonna keep it moving. Um, okay, so you've answered a lot of my technical nerdy questions about languages because I'm listening to K-pop, I'm listening to K-hip hop, right? And I'm thinking like, how did they meld right the English and the Korean together to make it flow so nicely, right? And so you
Right.
definitely answered my question about that. So I want to give you a little bit of chance to like, is there anything you want to promote? And you said you're working on some things. You obviously just had your EP come out. Is there anything else that you sort of want to let everybody know about? Anything else you want to
Mm.
brag about? This is your bragging time. You said brag
um,
about yourself.
treat yourself.
Yes.
Honestly, I wouldn't even say I have much to brag about. I'm just
Yeah.
honestly just really happy to be here.
Yeah.
I just want to, keep striving to keep pushing myself to do more.
Yeah.
And I'm hoping, one of these next K-pop songs I write hits the same way Jopping did. You know what I
It
mean?
will. It will. We already know.
But
We already know it will.
I will say though that now that I see that they put in Jopping to be for a Grammy,
Yes.
so
I was gonna get
if
there, but yep, you did it. You beat me to it.
I honestly, I don't even care if they win. If they win,
Yeah.
the fact that I can say I could be a nominated Grammy writer,
Yeah.
that would be my bragging rights. I don't think people would hear the end of it.
Exactly. Exactly.
So,
Listen, Grammy nominated. Next time I talk to you, Grammy nominated rapper, singer, artist, like all those different things. We gonna have it all in there. Yeah, that's really exciting. I was just gonna
but
mention. Yeah, I've seen that. But yeah.
I think definitely Peep Rose Gold. I think that's probably my favorite project I've made this year.
Yeah.
I've
Yeah.
been working on an album. I don't know
Okay.
if you're into like
Like a full
cartoons
length
and
album.
anime, but
Yeah.
yeah, I'm working on a full length album. It's called Adult Swim, and it's kind
Yes.
of like a vibe off of the old Adult Swim. So
I love Adult Swim.
like
Yeah.
it's cool because it was real neo soul and experimental funky type beats. So
Yeah.
that's what I'll be working on next. It's all
right.
produced by one person. So that'll be in the works. Hopefully I'll drop at the end of
Love
this
it.
year, but
Okay.
Rose Gold might be my last release this year. I don't know yet. I'm still trying to
Okay.
figure out. Well, this year I tried a little differently. I wanted to drop music more consistently, but also make sure the music was quality with the consistency.
Right.
Because I watched this Russ thing. Everybody gives Russ so much hate, but there was an interview he
Russ?
did where
Russell
have
Simmons?
you ever heard of Russ,
Oh no,
the
Russ.
singer?
Maybe. Okay. Keep going.
Okay. He's got long hair. He's from Georgia, and he was just like, "Yo, one of the biggest things that helped me when I was trying to become an artist was for a whole year I just dropped music every single month. Every single
Wow.
month, just drop music, just stay
Right.
in people's faces because eventually they're gonna keep seeing you and be like, this person's always dropping. What is this? Let me check it out."
Right.
And
Right.
then that's where the quality comes in. You don't know when somebody's going to check out your music. So I've been trying to make it to where whenever you hear of me, whenever you listen to something, that project's going to draw you in. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
Whether it's a project I dropped last year or a project I drop in the future, I want that project to be so good that even if you don't like it, you respect it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So
Love
yeah,
that.
that's where I've been going with it. But yeah, honestly, just to take it back, I'm just really happy to be here, and
Yeah.
I appreciate all the K-pop fans for uplifting my spirit as much as they
K-pop
did.
fans, they
Yes.
are loyal to the bone, and they will keep you going even in those low times. So yeah,
That's what I'm trying
definitely
to
keep
take
them
me to
around.
Korea. So I'm
Yes,
really
we
hoping
got to
I
get
can
you to
do
Korea.
that.
That's going to be once this whole thing that's in the air, that thing that's happening, once that settles down. First flight, we're out to Korea.
Yes.
Um,
First
last
class.
question. First class. Also, yes, that's also how we're gonna do it. Let's call it Korean Air right now. I always like to end my interviews on a random question note. So
Okay.
I'm gonna ask you a random question. Hopefully, you eat these items, or if you don't, we'll figure something else out. Hamburgers
Okay.
or hot dogs?
Ooh. Okay. Okay. I'm down for this question, but
Yes.
where are the hamburgers and hot dogs coming from?
That's
Because
fair. That's
that's
fair.
a
Yeah.
big determinant.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Since I'm from Chicago style hot dog or
Okay.
hamburger from. There's so many places. Like the best burger you've ever had. Like there's a place here that has supposedly one of the best burgers. I'm blanking on the name of the restaurant, but that, or if you want like In-N-Out or Whataburger or whatever you want.
I'd probably get the burger. I'd probably get the
Yes.
burger. But you know what's crazy?
Yeah.
I cook a lot of hot dogs at home because it's such a
Really?
quick thing. I can just throw in the microwave and
Exactly.
go to the studio, right?
Yes. Yes.
A
Exactly. You
lot
got your
of times I can
protein.
just
You
walk
good.
out with it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. Exactly.
What
Oh
about
my
you
gosh.
though? Hamburgers for you too?
Yeah, definitely hamburgers. Yeah, I'm not a
Okay.
hot dog person. I like brats, but I don't like hot dogs. There's something about the texture and consistency of them that I don't like.
Brats are really good.
Yes.
Smoked sausage is really good also.
Yes. Yes.
And do you like Polish sausage?
Sometimes. Maybe
Okay.
not
Hit or
sometimes.
miss?
Sometimes. Yeah, depends. I mean, Chicago, we got a lot of that. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really big. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thank you for taking time out to speak with me.
Thank
This has
you.
been really great. I cannot wait to see where you go. I know it's only up from here, and it's just going to be, I can't wait to see what you're working on and what, if you drop music this year or next year, I think we'll all be waiting for you. So yeah, thank you so
Thank you
much.
so much for even bringing me out.
Yeah,
This
of
is a really
course.
cool moment. And
Yes.
it was actually very comfortable. Talking to you
Yeah.
was like very
Oh,
easy and flowed
thank
well.
you. Good. That's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to make everybody comfortable. So,
Yes.
love to hear it. So yes, thank you so much.